What if your body has been trying to tell you something, but you never actually had the tools to listen? So many people are doing all the right things. They're exercising, they're trying supplements, they're eating better, and they're still feeling exhausted, inflamed, and stuck. What if the missing piece wasn't more discipline, but better feedback from your body itself? Why do we keep going back to quick fixes, even when we know they don't work? Welcome to the Coach's Hotline. Glucose, grit, and grace. Real talk with coaches, no sugarcoating.
We're here to help you ditch the diet cycle, stabilize blood sugar, and finally feel at home in your body.
Because health isn't about restriction. It's about freedom, energy, and confidence.
Let's dive in. Welcome back to Glucose, Grit, and Grace. I am Coach Amber, and I'm here with Coach Elaine and Coach Elaine. And today we are welcoming back Coach Rachel. She was our guest on episode 8. So if you haven't seen that, you better go check that out. It's a good one. But today she is back to talk about a completely different side of healing. Today she's talking about things like biofeedback, nervous system regulation, red light therapy, PEMF therapy, lymphatic detox, and even creating your own personal health retreat. Because sometimes health isn't about pushing harder. In fact, it never is. Sometimes it's about giving your body the environment to recover. We are excited to welcome back our friend, Coach Rachel Borntrager. Rachel is the founder of Purposeful Health, where she helps people heal from the inside out, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. After navigating her own health transformation and losing 70 pounds, she built a framework that helps people restore energy, balance hormones, and reconnect to how their body is designed to function. The last time Rachel joined us, we talked about burnout, stress, and reclaiming energy. Today, we're diving into some of the tools and therapies she uses to help people actually restore their bodies. Rachel, welcome back to Glucose, Grit, and Grace.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm first of all honored to be asked back and so grateful for the opportunity to share with people what there is available so that they can build health differently.
Amazing. I am so excited about this episode and would love to just kick it off with biofeedback. I'm not even sure I know what that is, but that's a word that people hear and, like me, may not really understand. What exactly is biofeedback measuring in the body?
So there's lots of different ways to do biofeedback. The way that we do it here at Purposeful Health is we do computerized electrodermal screening, where we use the meridian points on your hands and your feet. And if you look at a meridian chart, they literally these little lines go from the organs all the way to your hands and your feet. And it's pretty incredible once you start looking at the energetics of a human. In modern medicine, we look at chemistry and we want all the chemistry to look really good and balanced. But if you go deeper into the medicine from ancient medicine, they always were looking at energy, making sure the body had the energy to do what it was intended to do. And our bodies are geniuses. If we give them the tools that they need our bodies can heal themselves. So going to the question of what is bioenergetics and biofeedback, it's looking at those meridian points to see if your body, your organs, your hormones, all the things, how are they balanced? Do they have the energy? Are they over-energized with inflammation? And then what can help to bring them back into balance? Is it nutrition? Is it bringing in frequency medicines like the cloud? Or do we need to do some detox in the lymphatics? Or what is there? There's so much that our bodies are complex beings. So looking at the whole picture and then making a plan to see where your body wants to go next.
Wow, that stuff is so interesting. And I might ask it later, but when we talk about all these different imbalances, what kinds of imbalances can biofeedback detect that people might not even realize is happening to themselves?
I love that question. Our first initial scan, when we do the meridian points, we can see where the organs are out of balance, or is it lymphatic? Is it extra fluid, lymphatic fluid? And then I dive deeper in. So is it malnutrition of the minerals? Do we have toxic metals? Do we have a cellular fungus, mold, yeast, parasite? What is the toxin that is disrupting that balance? And then getting rid of that toxin, whatever it is, and then building up, because toxins in general, we live in a world of, if nothing more, the e-smog that creates a lot of ick and pollution into our bodies. But there's more. Our food is contaminated, our water is contaminated, and the best we can do, we are always going to get something. So just looking at the whole picture, what is causing that imbalance? And we at Purposeful Health do not diagnose, treat, or cure. However, we can see things that could potentially be an issue before they're an issue, and just taking care of it, it's never an issue.
Wow. It's so fascinating to me, the signals that your body can give, and that if we just learn to listen and look, that we can figure stuff out that we never would have known before. And I would imagine, Rachel, that a lot of this that you find out for people is very individualized for a person. So really, what surprises people the most when they see the results of one of these scans that you do?
I have a lot of people, it can be a different spectrum. So some people come in and they're like, you ask questions and you're like, I'm good. And as I start to scan and I see imbalances, and I pinpoint my question to, for example, if your greater momentum is out of balance, that's the lining of your gut. Are you having a lot of bloating? Is there gas after you eat? And they're like, oh, they didn't even think about that because it's so normal to them.
Every day, yeah.
They don't even think about it being an issue. Or on the flip side, people are coming in with all these symptoms and they're like, I've been everywhere and no one can get me the results that I want. And they say, I'm fine, but I'm not fine. I'm not sleeping. I'm not having energy. And the list could go on and on. And if we find that systemic imbalance, what that is, take care of that. And our bodies generally just float back into balance.
So, Rachel, is there an age limit for this? Is there a certain time frame that says, oh, it doesn't matter when you hit a certain age, that you just proceed as you are? Or is this biofeedback, things that you talk about, things that can be done at
any age? I've literally seen people from 3 months to 100.
Oh,
wow.
Interesting.
What about people that aren't in Montana where you are? Can you do some of this stuff remotely or long distance for people?
Biofeedback is definitely something we can do remotely. So just having them send me a hair sample and we go through the procedure of how to get that. And then we do surrogate testing and find what, again, is out of balance. Do the whole thing as if you were here. And then we customize the nutrition for that person as well. One thing is with hair, it's more of a 3-month snapshot of what's going on. So it's even broader aspect. And then I like them to be on the customized nutrition for 3 months before we rescan, because that way it gives us a whole new look.
So can you tell what's happened today based on hair from the root of the hair, or is it within the last week maybe?
It's with everything that's happening in the last 3 months. So when that hair comes to me, it's the snapshot of the last 3 months.
Okay.
And if it's been longer than that, obviously it's going to be a persistent issue. So it's going to be there.
Wow.
So once someone sees what's going on in their body, my question is, how do you help the body recover? I know that you offer a variety of recovery therapies. Can you walk us through some of them?
Absolutely. So I like to always start with that biofeedback, because then we can see where our next path is, because holistic healing is an investment. So we got to figure out what is your next best step. And a lot of things encompass that. So if, let's say that the energies, someone has got very low energy across the board, their body is just begging for help in that, I need energy to even show you the next step. So that's where I bring in the cloud, which is molecular activations, low frequency PEMF or PMA. And that really helps get those molecules activated. We have thousands of molecules in our body. And if we can activate those molecules at the cellular level, it just is like a cascade of building energy so that, again, we can then see what the next step is for that person.
How does that PEMF work?
The one that I utilize, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, is it something that you wear, something that you attach to yourself? How does it work?
The PEMF that I use, it's actually next gen PEMA because there's nothing out there. It's molecular activation that is activating those cells so deep into the system, but it looks like a yoga mat and you lay on it for 15 minutes twice a day. And there's different settings on it depending on what you're wanting: rest, balance, energize, synchronize, which I think of stress because that has been my part of my healing journey. And then transform, I think of discomfort or an acute issue going on. And so, and depending, and you can switch that up. We're holistic, so we don't have to follow the rules. So it's just really trying to listen to your body, what your body needs. So someone that has ADHD and they're ramped up already, but yet they want to go to bed, I'm not going to start out balance and then ramp them up again. So it really is knowing the person, knowing the equipment, and figuring out what works best for them.
So what
you go ahead, Elaine.
What does the person feel when they're laying on their mat? Do they feel like warmth? Does it feel like a massage? What does it feel like when they're on this?
A lot of people feel nothing. And the fact that they're like, oh, is this even working? Because of its low intensity PEMF. And we are in a world, especially with people that are busy and not really paying attention to their own bodies, they're not going to feel it. But someone that is a little bit more in tuned and they feel maybe some emotion stuck or something like that, they may feel some tingling, they may feel warm. It's not a warm mat. It's just the activation of those molecules that create the warmth. So in itself, most people don't feel anything. Some people do feel the frequencies. It's just depending on what's going on.
Oh, interesting.
And they're just energy frequencies, right? It's not light or anything. It's
correct.
Energy.
Yep. It's energy frequencies that are programmed in the mat, depending on which program or intensity that you use.
Excellent.
And then our bodies are, the creation of the mat is that there's sounds or frequencies coming in from both directions so that our bodies don't get used to it. Whereas a lot of other PEMFs out there are not as complex.
Nice. But you also talk about red light therapy. So not only energy waves, but red light therapy. What does that do?
Yeah, and I like to do what I call a trifecta at my office, where we do the cloud for 15 minutes. So you get those cells energized. And then we do the red light, which is really helping the mitochondria, the ATP. So you've got the cells energized, the ATP, the energy from that. And then it allows your body to get rid of toxins, cells that aren't working properly. It helps them just move them along right away. And then I like to then follow it up with deep lymphatic. So a lot of times we get those toxins released and going, may it be emotions, may it be actual physical toxins. We need an exit. Even though people are pooping every day, sometimes we're not actually eliminating that stuff. We're getting it's stuck in the fascia, it's stuck in the inner. So getting that deep lymphatic, I have a LymphStar Pro machine that, again, it's a frequency machine, but it's working the target. How I work it is targeting the exit of the lymphatic, the cisterna chyli, which is a large lymph node between your chest and your abdomen, so that the drainage points are working and getting things moving out.
Wow. This is like so beyond me.
I know, but it's so interesting.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah. So which therapy do people feel the biggest difference from? I know you just talked about the trifecta. Is it having those three that you'll get a little bit of, I don't know if I want to call it relief, but a little bit of good from one, but the three is what gives you that, maybe what you're looking for totally, or?
It's definitely like the next level. So we talked about all of the above with the energy as well as getting those toxins exiting to the proper locations. Mm-hmm. Some people even feel tired after that, but it's just because your body is working hard. When I first started this journey with doing the trifecta on myself, leave me alone for about an hour. And then it was like, then I got my energy boost. So everyone responds differently. Now I can do it at 8 o'clock and have no issues.
Nice.
That's awesome.
One of the things that, as we were talking earlier before we started recording, was that you have the opportunity for people to have mini health retreats. That sounds amazing. And so I know you offer 3 and 5 day health retreats. Can you tell us what that is? Because it sounds fabulous.
Absolutely. So I created that because of my people that I serve from a distance, because yes, we can do the bioenergetics and we can get the customized nutrition, but they wanted all of the services. Well, I'm not going to travel to them because I have a family and I have a business and all the things. So I created it so that people can come to me. I've partnered with different people in the area for nutrition and for a place to stay. And then also with the gym, if they like to work out or just move their body, if it's freezing cold here, depending on what time of year you come, we have a gym that's close by. So what that could look like is if someone was to come in, do a 3 to 5 day retreat, you're going to get the biofeedback. You're going to get all of the therapies and each day a therapy. And depending on what's going on with you, we have to maybe move a little bit slower. So the 5 day might be a better option versus the 3 day. And it just really is, we can get so personalized with their healing journey to jumpstart it.
So what kinds of results do people see after these 3 to 5 days?
With doing all the different therapies as alongside of all the nutrition that they're getting right off the bat, first of all, they're going to notice an energy shift. They're going to have potentially more energy. Again, I talked about some people, depending on where they are, they may be a little bit slower and sluggish to begin with, but then it's going to pick up. And doing it every day, you're going to notice the difference.
Wow. It's amazing that you can see that difference in such a short period of time.
The body is so fascinating, right? And it's so resilient. It is designed to heal and thrive as long as we do what we need to do to support it, which is what we're all about here at the podcast. Right? And you mentioned briefly, Rachel, that nutrition is part of your retreat. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit because that's what we all talk about often. Why is nutrition coaching still such an important element when people are doing these therapies with you?
We go back to we are what we eat. So if we're putting in garbage into our body, we're going to get garbage out. We're going to feel like garbage. So making sure that it's nutrition that our body, first of all, wants. That's why I like the biofeedback. We can get super clear on where the holes are in our system and really nurturing that, making sure it's balanced with proteins, fats, and carbs. And we live in a world with everyone's got an opinion of all the different diets. And I've even tried a lot of them, to be honest. And getting back to menopausal, pre, post, mid, whatever you want, wherever you're at, women specifically we're delicate. And on the flip side, we're like tough, we can handle anything. But on our nutrition side, stress is a huge factor. And if we do not figure out how to transform that, because we're not going to get rid of it, we just have to figure out what we can do to transform that. Therefore, we can get rid of support our body so it's not pumping out that cortisol and we're getting those cortisol fats storage. And so I don't know if I answered your question a little bit, but I could go on and on about just the nutrition part of how it is so important to support the body.
Right. And we know you're a proponent of proteins, fats, and carbs every 3 to 4 hours. And whole foods, I think if the more closely we can eat food to the way it was grown, the better it is for us. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of amazing things about nutrition in our bodies. So I love that you bring this extra element of using these modalities that help you speed up maybe your healing, or at least help you identify things that are going wrong before they're crashing your body. I love that.
Right.
I think that was one of the reasons we brought you back, Rachel, was the fact that after we finished recording your episode 8, we just continued to talk about all of this stuff that was just so amazing that through purposeful health that you offer. So that's why we felt it was important to bring you back so that our listeners can also hear all of this amazing stuff, because it can be hard to siphon through all of that information. I can tell you that I was looking, who was it? Somebody mentioned red light therapy. So guess what I'm getting on my Facebook feed and getting from Amazon as suggested? It's like, how do I know that this $25 red light therapy is really going to do anything? Is it just, do I really need to invest in something that's more? Because a lot of times cheap is not always best, unfortunately. And I don't mean cheap in a bad way, but we're getting things that aren't what they should be, and we could be basically wasting our time on something like that. So that's why I think it's so interesting that you bring all of this stuff to your clients and getting all that awareness out there. And we also know, we see you travel on all kinds of panels about all of this. So listeners, we've got an expert here. So
There's for sure.
yes, she does.
Well, it's amazing how when you start getting in alignment with who you are truly created to be, what places you can be in rooms with these very amazing influencers. So last weekend, for example, I was in a room with Dr. Carrie Madej and Dr. Christina Northrup. These are frontline doctors that have spoke the truth, and such inspiration give me the excitement to go out and remember what I'm created to do, to have that strength to do the next things, to stand up for what's right, because we're in a world that's kind of crazy.
You have to advocate for yourself. So
For sure.
absolutely.
Can you tell us a client story of somebody that came to you and they were just at their wits' end, and how what you do helped them?
Yeah, I like this. I was thinking about this because I've seen this in your questions. So I'll have two. So one of them came to me, and it was more in an acute situation where she was so drained of energy to the point where she couldn't even walk into the place by herself. And I was new at that time. So I was like, well, maybe we need to go see medical attention. She's like, definitely not. I was a hard no. And she's like, you're going to have to figure it out. And I was like, oh, dear God. So really supporting her mitochondria, the molecular activation, and getting her the energy, and just helping her body to rest and recover. And fast forward a couple years, she's still on the ranch, she's still thriving and enjoying life. And then I get people that they just don't feel well, but then their labs look fine, you're fine, but they're not fine. And finding those imbalances, supporting the body needs to be supported so that it can heal and thrive.
Wow. It's just like miracles. But
My
you're
mind
right.
is blown.
I know.
The body is miraculous.
It was created to be able to help us to survive, or to survive for us when we don't always know what we're doing. So anyway, so when people come to you, so I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what kind of person might benefit most from the type of support that you offer? Or is it pretty much something that this can benefit everyone?
Well, this can benefit anyone that wants to invest in their health and take it to the next level.
Cool.
All right. Well, this is my favorite time of our podcast. It's our lightning round. And so what I want you to do is just give us the first answer that pops in your brain. It can be a word, a sentence, a phrase, whatever's clever. All right. So I will start. What is your favorite recovery therapy for yourself?
The cloud, the molecular activation.
Perfect. What's your favorite stress reset ritual? I'm assuming it includes the cloud, but is there something else with it?
Yeah, I love to be on the cloud and do brain mapping. And that's a nice title for helping your body recover from stuck trauma.
Oh. What's the most underrated health habit, in your opinion?
Drink water.
Isn't it crazy how simple that is?
I know it is.
Coffee, tea, or favorite morning energy booster?
I like coffee, but I also do like to make sure that I have protein before I drink my coffee.
Awesome.
For sure. So what is your favorite or your go-to, I need a stress reset meal? Since we talked a little bit about nutrition, what's a food that you feel nourishes you the best when you're stressed and need a reset?
I tend to go to bone broth and sip on that.
So what's one thing that everyone should know about healing? I know there's many, but can you give us one, maybe your top?
Trust your body, listen to your body, and know that you have the right tools or the resources just by simply asking more questions.
So
Yeah.
I think you maybe just touched on this, but maybe if you could expound a little bit more. If someone listening to this today is just feeling exhausted, inflamed, and their body is not cooperating anymore despite everything that they're doing, what is one hopeful thing you want them to remember?
You're not broken. Your body is trying to tell you something.
That's powerful.
That just succinct.
Exactly.
Listen to your body.
That's right.
So, if today's conversation made you curious about how your body is actually functioning, this episode is a reminder that healing isn't about pushing harder. It's about getting the right feedback and creating the right environment for your body to repair. Now, if you enjoyed this conversation, please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel and share this episode with someone who is running on empty who needs to hear this. Also, make sure you check out our other conversations on glucose, grit, and grace. Because remember, health isn't about restriction. It's about freedom, energy, and living in alignment with how your body was designed to thrive. Rachel, thank you so much for coming back and pouring into us. I can't say that all my questions have been answered because I could talk to you for hours and still not get my questions answered. But we are so thankful that you joined us today. Thank you so much.
So Rachel, can you tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah.
If they have more questions about whether they're in Montana or not, about how they can maybe start looking at your protocols, things like that?
Purposefulhealth.net is the website. And then there is a place to contact me or even book a discovery call just to see if this could be something that they are looking for.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.